it's recording.
Oh, it is already?
Yeah, it's recording.
Okay, then.
We are rolling.
Oh, we are?
Yes. Tighten up your shirts. Put up your...
Wait, can you see shoes?
No, you can't.
No,
You can't. See your knees over here.
All right, so the camera records in 30-minute slots.
We could do that. Yeah.
All right, everybody show your toes.
Don't bring foot fetish into this. Podcast, that's a foot fetish? Jesus Christ.
Okay, well, welcome guys to this podcast. We are known as the Dark Skins, and we've got some lovely guests who are here today. So yeah, my name is Sarah, and you might know me as Just Joycer on social media. So we'll let you guys introduce yourselves.
My name is Joe. You might see me on TikTok and YouTube. I make very good videos.
Go follow.
My name is Ansel, and I'm a singer-songwriter as well as an entrepreneur. That's me.
I'm Josh. I go by The Last Romantic, or Joshua the Last, and I make music.
Awesome. Thanks for your introductions. So let's get into it. A topic that has been of interest around the world for a couple of months now is Gen Zs and Millennials. Now, all of us are pretty much born in the era of Gen Zs. Right? Correct?
I thought you two are millennials.
I mean,
we're both in the Gen Z cut.
We're born like in the era that they turned.
Yeah.
FYI, these two are 1997.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like the... Yeah, I guess.
97 years.
Yeah, they're 97 years old.
We have really
Hey,
good
Grandpa.
face cream. It just doesn't wonder.
I know. Jeez, you look very...
I know.
We were just saying to him before we started as well. You look very good today, Enzo.
Yeah, I do Aveeno skincare.
Lucky. Gee,
Yeah.
you should share some tips with us.
Well,
No way, skincare. Skincare routine.
I have like a brand deal, so if you want something, no.
Oh,
wow.
okay.
So I mainly wanted to talk about Gen Zs versus Millennials, and we say it's to do with the era we were born with, but there are some Gen Zs that don't necessarily fit within the generalistic description of Gen Z. So like, how do you define that?
And I guess vice versa as well. Like some millennials probably identify more as a Gen Z.
Is that a thing?
I think so.
Interesting. I'd like to hear what you think about that. Right?
I mean, I'll be disappointed, but like, it's not good to be to identify more with Gen Z, in my opinion.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so let's start off with the like, do you agree or disagree with the whole, you're born in the era, so therefore you are Gen Z / millennial.
What do you think about this?
I think you either fit into the bracket firstly, right? Like the years, and then you have like the actual like identification if you actually think that you.
What do you mean fit into a bracket?
Because like we said, we talked about like certain years,
yeah.
like actually being in that generation.
Oh yeah, as long as you're not like a boomer, then.
Yeah, it would be like you wouldn't. Yeah, it would be
Like
that
97 years old and.
Yeah, being like I'm Generation Alpha, like just coming into it, like that would
Yeah.
be a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, no, I got you. Sure.
So
Yeah.
so there's that, but then there's actually like what do you feel like how you were brought up, like for example, like a lot of people like look at generations and the TV shows you grew up with and the memes that you understand, and you're like, this is why we're kind of part of the same generation because the way you were brought up, but it differs depending on like the family and the culture and where you grow up in terms of the country. So
That's
like
true.
all of those like factors are important.
Would you say
But
this?
if you weren't brought up, if you didn't have a Facebook account like growing up in your high school life, then you're basically Gen Z.
Pretty much. That's actually true.
Wait, if you
I've
didn't
noticed
have
this.
Facebook growing up,
Kids these days don't use Facebook at all.
what?
You didn't know that?
Wait, no, I know that, but I mean, it didn't click until like you're basically Gen Z, and I'm like, is that a good thing though? Like, if you don't have Facebook,
Well, like I said, it's never good to be a Gen Z. Hey, I am one too. But I just reckon Gen Z's, man, that's a different breed. For real. They're a different breed. That's so...
breed.
Oh my god.
you need to unpack that.
You really do. They're f***ed off. Oh, I swear, have you seen TikTok, man? Just open TikTok. The shit that you see on there, I can't believe that kind of message is being like
See, this
propagated
is
to our...
guy. This is our guy.
What do you mean?
He's basically saying you're the man.
Yeah, because we do not like TikTok.
Oh, really? Even I make all my content on it. No, I agree. I
I love how
completely
you just
agree.
said that to a TikToker.
Yeah, I don't like TikTok at all.
You're just like let's handshake because we both hate
boldness.
TikTok.
No,
No,
but-
that's your job.
You know, normally like that would sound kind of off, but like I completely agree with him. Though. I was saying
Right.
because I find it to be cancer, bro.
Do you
As
still,
I was saying,
have you downloaded TikTok?
Huh?
Do you still have TikTok?
yeah. Well, I meant to get back on posting it. I just don't like consuming the content on it.
Right.
I use it because it's the best way to get like organic reach right now because it blows up. Right, any random person can get like millions of views for no reason, just to do with the algorithm. But
Do you use it for business reasons?
For sure. I don't like consuming it. I try to avoid it just because, as I was saying, you open it and I see all these like terrible messages that they're teaching to young kids these days. Because pretty much all Gen Zs have TikTok. And yeah, just my personal opinion, it's not very good things to teach kids. Yeah.
Right.
My bro said that TikTok's now the biggest app in the world.
It is. I believe it is.
That's quite interesting. I mean, what does that really mean for our next generation, though? I was like, what?
Long story short.
Everybody's gonna be living in the electronic world.
Pretty much.
In the social media world.
We're becoming like Wally, guys.
I was just about to say that. Wally. And everyone's like
Looks
100
like a really
kgs
comfy
in
chair.
there. Yeah.
Well, this is a comfy chair. But anyway,
Oh, we're on the way, guys.
interesting. Josh, what are your thoughts on this?
Me personally, like I was born in 2003, so I'm in the Gen Z category. I think there's certain like characteristics that, and things that, let's say, someone who's a Gen Z person would find funny or interesting or stuff like that. I think there's almost like a culture code towards the generations between Gen Z and Millennials, for example. And I think I fit in more with the culture code, although I feel like I'm a mix of the two. Like I can relate to the millennial side in terms of, I guess, like the Facebook thing. And
So you use Facebook yourself? How do you know? This is your brother.
Look, I'm just asking to verify. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to make
For
assumptions.
the sake of the podcast,
I had Facebook growing. That was my first social media, platform, and so I barely post on it. And literally, if I do post, I get like one like no one.
Yeah.
I think majority of my friends just don't. Even though I have like over 700 friends, majority of them
Over 700.
We don't even have that much.
I don't think. So it's just like,
I mean, I have like, never mind.
Okay, no need to
Let's
flex.
not get
No
into
need to
this.
flex.
Let's not get there.
Carry on.
and I think because what Andrew said about being brought up kind of hit a light bulb, because now I'm thinking like the way that I was brought up, because my parents are quite a whole lot older than me, and so the influence that they brought down onto me kind of, it's like, because I'm pretty sure our parents are boomers, right? Generation, right?
Wait, how old is that? Sorry.
Just
clarify for the audience as well.
Isn't that like 50 over?
Yeah,
like,
something
Right,
like
that's
that.
boomers. Okay.
And so like the fact that they're, like boomers, what came after boomers was millennials, right? And so the way that boomers taught children ended up.
Oh wait,
It's
hold on.
many
Where's
baby
Gen X
boomers.
coming?
Oh, is it?
It's boomers, baby boomers,
Yeah.
and then millennials, is right?
I think so.
Hey, cameraman.
Should we fact check this?
Joe Rogan's podcast. You know some of them.
I haven't watched one.
You know the meme, like Jamie pulled that up. Don't say it's Caleb or Jamie.
So the first generation of boomers are those who are 67 to 75. The second generation of boomers are 57 to 66. And then we've got
Gen X.
Gen
That's what it
X
is.
before millennials.
How old are Gen X then? It's like
Oh, sorry.
yeah, that's the ages right there.
That's what I
yeah,
thought.
41
so that's
to
like my parents.
56.
Cool. Okay, so my theory basically just got thrown in the trash. But, my idea was that like, since there's like boomers, the way that whatever the previous generation was kind of like influenced what became the millennial generation. So if I have parents that are from a generation, like 2 generations before, the way that I'm going to grow up might be similar to, let's say, the generation
in the middle.
between.
Yeah,
in between.
I get one.
And so
Right.
that in that sense, I feel like I was probably brought up in a way that actually, I don't know how millennials were brought up, so I can't really say it for sure. But I
They
guess
were
like in my maybe like the way I carry myself, I feel like I can relate to millennials. But there's certain aspects of my character that falls in the Gen Z side as well. So it's hard to articulate, but I really feel like I'm right in between those two.
I think technically it kind of makes sense because you're in your day-to-day interactions. Perhaps you interact more with Gen Zs, but like in other contexts, you do interact with millennials as well. So you draw different things from those generations. I think that kind of.
I always feel like I relate more with older people, and like I feel like I can hang out and talk with older people more
Than people your own age.
than people. Yeah, of course.
Really?
People my own age or people underneath,
Oh, nice.
younger than me.
That's good. Shows that your probably mental maturity is a bit
Yeah, I think that plays into it, but then it's kind of sad because that also contributes to like not really fitting in at high school. For
you think all the kids are just dumbasses?
They are.
Pretty much it.
I'm not gonna. This isn't to like flex or anything like that. Like in the most humble way. Like there was a time in English class. I think we were doing like something as like two groups in the class, and I probably brought something up, and then one guy was like, "Oh, bro, like Josh was literally like the smartest in the class. Like all the rest of us like just completely stupid." And then yeah, I've personally had the problem. Like it's a blessing and a curse to kind of feel like I'm just more mature than the others. Like
I get what you mean.
it's a blessing because I don't know. I guess I have insights that other people don't have, right? But it's a curse because I feel like I can be I just feel separate or different from other people and I can't really fit in. So that's something that I struggle with, but this isn't a sob session, it probably is. Okay, so let's continue.
Interesting. Yeah.
Did you have a similar experience just because you guys are related? Maybe it has to do with like your genetic development, maybe.
Genetic development, just
well,
because
because your brain develops. Like he's saying, he feels more mature than his age. It has a lot to do with like how fast your brain develops.
It does.
And so since you're related,
in
it
a
might
sense.
yeah.
I think it's both like genetics, but also like nurture or nature. I think.
For sure.
How do I explain? I think I've had a similar experience with Josh, like going to different events here and there. I've always kind of related or hung out with people who are older, even if there are children around and stuff. Like I might play it with like the young children, but then I'll be associated with adults and stuff. But I think it might be to do with our background and growing up. Like we've been heavily involved in the church, and there's a lot of expectations as well that comes with growing up. And you need to be seen this way or dressed this way or behave this way. So I think that sort of also shapes who we associate ourselves with. And I think
Right.
I mean that's how I see myself.
And then so going back to like the millennial versus Gen Z thing then, since you say you both of you probably felt older than or more mature than your age, would that mean that you'll probably lean more towards millennials then, since you kind of fall in between here?
Definitely. I feel as though I am a millennial. Like I'm constantly having to talk to other young people to sort of catch up.
What do you mean?
She talks to us sometimes like, oh, what's going on? Like,
what's cool these days with the kids?
Yeah,
You sound like a grandma.
sometimes like we might be talking about ourselves about something that happened recently.
Yeah.
Travis Scott, for example, something, and then she's like, "Oh, what's that about?"
Right.
Or like certain uses of language or like slang. Like
Oh
I'm
my
like I don't
God.
get it sometimes, and when you think you get it, it's like gone.
You don't want to get it though. That's the thing.
Oh, okay.
Like Gen Z, you want to stay away from that stuff, eh? Straight up, I don't think it's a good thing that you don't get it. So
Okay, cool. But I mean, it's just sometimes you're like you want to be able to at least communicate with other people,
especially when you have kids as well. I feel like that's probably
it's
when
gonna
it
be
becomes
hard.
the more important to be able to relate to younger generations. Just about bringing up their kids, you got to understand aspects in their life. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Also, I do
Absolutely.
not think that I'm like that was the illustration I gave. I was really trying to be humble. Like the people in my English class were really, really smart. Like extremely smart. So I'm just like,
Shout out to
Making that
Josh's
clear.
English class.
Oh my god.
Okay,
Oh my
one of the
god.
classes listening?
That was one of my favorite classes.
Just wait till the camera's cut off.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, those dumbass. Anyway, then.
This is interesting. This feels like some deja vu moment. Like I've actually dreamt this before. But anyway,
Hey?
yeah, it's weird. Anyway,
It's interesting how you said like parents. Like I feel like like doesn't matter if you're millennial or you're Gen Z. I think like those parents will have a better way of communicating with their kids, just because I think they wouldn't have usually had to go through what the parents had to go through, and so they are sometimes more understanding. I
Wait,
think
who would be better at communicating to?
I think Gen Z and millennials. Like,
We would be better at communicating to...
your children.
Oh, what?
Just
that's an
because
interesting
you had a very different way of life.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the time, older parents like they've either had to like come from a different country, like they've had challenges that you don't even want to imagine. You know, and like it's not as I think difficult to adapt because like maybe your generation is the one that has the luxury in a way to understand what you have and be able to pass that knowledge on and spend time with your kids to really go through what you wish your parents told you.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's maybe different.
But don't you think, like, with every generation that comes, there's so many changes? So you're saying, you know, I think from what I understand, with what you just said, is like boomers and before had a very different lifestyle than us. I guess with like technology and all that stuff, right? We've had a big change in lifestyle. But then how do you know that the next one after us or next one after Gen Alpha won't be drastically different as well? Just from how fast technology is developing right now.
They will be drastically
They
different, but
probably will be.
yeah, they
Yeah,
will
most
be.
likely. Like,
Probably drastically, but in the in-between period, like, you know, like boomers and maybe what is this, Generation X or something, they had similar life experiences, right?
Yeah,
Then when
Did
you
they
look
though?
at millennials,
Yeah,
Gen
they
Zs, I think you would sort of categorize them as having like
How
being
so?
the
I just-
intermediate. I'm looking for that
I just want to
word.
understand the
Intermediary,
similarities
yeah.
between, like, you're kind of grouping millennials and Gen Z quite differently to the...
For the purpose of how technology has advanced, we're almost like in the middle, right? And then you have Gen Alpha and whoever is going to experience a drastic
So
increase in technology.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
20 years ago, nobody had a smartphone.
no, not even 20
But I'm
years
saying,
ago.
like,
Yeah.
20 years from
not
now,
even like
the
probably
difference
10
might
years.
be
What?
even more.
15.
It wasn't 2006.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
2006, yeah, that's when the first like iPhone, right, came out.
Yeah.
Or
That's
iPod or
crazy.
something.
Everybody got it. Well, in the Western world, in the first world country,
Not everybody.
Everybody got.
I was looking at my friend and
Yeah,
I
I
was
have it.
wanting that.
I know. I had like not that.
Oh, man.
You know what I would do? I would actually pull out her iPod and like clean it with my skirt.
Well, the point I'm making.
What the hell?
Because I wanted it to be clean, you know?
Oh
It's
my
like,
god.
I was
You know
that
they sold
obsessed with
fake
it.
iPhones during then, and I had one.
You
And,
had a
like,
fake
It
iPhone?
literally was so fake that you can literally pull an antenna out of it,
Oh,
and you can watch TV. Like that's how like level of fake iPhone is. It almost sounds like I'm like making a telling
Can
a
we pull up a
lie.
picture of this? I
That
just want to
Only
see.
if it
funny.
had it.
That is
Did that
actually
You can
exist?
ask like my family, and they'd be
Did
like,
that
"You legit
exist?
had that," and I'm like, "I know."
Fake.
And I was like, when I got a real one, I
I'm
was
trying
like,
to
"Oh
picture
my
what that
gosh,"
looks like.
Holy Grail. But yeah,
Fake iPhone, right? With antenna.
Bro,
I feel like if you can buy it,
how
it's
else
like
would you
a
describe that thing?
rarity. But
I don't know if they would have an image of that.
Probably not.
yeah, I don't know.
Did
where I
you
got
make
it.
that?
What the
I have that. I had that. I used to
Wait,
have
show
that.
Josh.
That is funny.
Oh,
I was
hang
so
on.
excited. You could legit watch TV.
What
I was
the
like at my cousin's house watching TV.
It's
I was
like a radio with
I'm
just
so
like
cool.
a sticker of an iPhone stuck on.
legit had that.
Whoa.
What? Do you still have it?
No, I gave it away.
Oh.
Gave
Yeah.
it away.
It's like an
it was
antique, man.
given to another member of the family,
Oh, just hand me downs.
kind of.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And so yeah, I was like, oh, that's
Whoa.
such a unique device. I didn't know that existed. No one knew it existed. It clearly. But yeah, I think that's a weird thing about technology, right? Like all the different things that you just come across and then you have it and it's part of your life and then you can't imagine it without it. And like,
Oh,
I think
for
when we're talking
sure.
about generations, I think like the interesting thing is the generations before us didn't have like that much information. The future generation has all of the information. That's the weird thing about it is like you have any type of information you want, you have it,
Yeah.
and your parents also have it. That was not the same case for us probably.
Yeah.
So like I wonder like how that will kind of develop in terms of what people will be like because you get to decide what you want to know about early. And like because kids are learning so quickly, like I have like my sister was learning robotics in primary school and stuff like that. So like just the next generation is going to have so much to learn so quickly.
It's
And
actually so interesting. You just
Yeah.
made me think about so much, eh?
People become
It's-
more intelligent as the generations.
Yeah, all the time.
I beg
I
to
think
differ,
it's just-
bro.
I think it's probably just because.
Come on.
Okay, look.
I beg to
I feel
differ.
like at this point, people watching will be like, "Nah, bro, Joe and Josh hate Gen Z."
I love you, Gen Z.
I love you.
I'm on the fence.
I'm not part of that. I'm not part of the.
But
Hey.
I mean, it's because
I think, but the thing is, like, I think
Oh,
we're
I know why.
categorizing it.
I think I know why.
Well,
It's
yeah,
because
but-
we are probably more aware out of us four of what Gen Zs are like because we use TikTok more. These guys are kind of in the.
Oh,
I've
he's never used TikTok.
ever
What?
in my life
Never.
Why do you hate it then?
because I've seen enough. Okay, I've
So-
seen enough through Instagram. I know what the
Oh, you've seen it from other platforms.
yeah, and I've seen like YouTube videos about it.
You've only
talking
scratched
about
the surface,
basically
man. It gets
explaining
much
how
worse.
it's, you know, so like I know that it's extremely addicting. That once you get it, like it's
Yeah.
just hours and hours of scrolling.
But other
This
social
scrolls
media-
this way and scrolls this way and stuff like that, and so
I don't think the addicting part is the part that's bad about TikTok.
And also, I never find TikToks funny. But hey, continue. Sorry.
That's a lie from the
No,
Also-
all I was gonna say is just like other social media platforms are kind of following in the footpaths where it's becoming more and more addicting.
Yes.
You know, content is like leaning towards more short form because people are losing their attention span with every generation with how fast we can access everything. So
Yeah.
That's not good, especially giving it to a young.
But anyway, that's
person.
not the bad part about TikTok. And I don't want to get into that because, oh boy.
That's for another conversation.
Yes. Carry on.
But yeah, I find it interesting when I mentioned about like almost categorizing or almost putting, you know, groups of generations together. Like, do you guys see that differently?
I think it's so easy to just think that like all of Gen Z is the same, and like a lot of Gen Z don't use TikTok. You know, like even so many people are on it. You know, the world is so big, and so it's hard to know like how every generation grows up.
I think
Like,
it's just
it
a
is the
majority. Like,
leading
it's the
app,
vast
though.
majority. That's why,
It's definitely like a lot of people, but then like I think there's different types of content creators like on TikTok, and so not all of them are, you know, creating videos just for like, you know, there's no like meaning behind it, like so it's kind of like how are you coming at it, and yeah, I think it's just hard because like you have the opportunity to create amazing content, but then there's like pressure now to be successful.
Yes.
So I think people are scared to be like themselves and creative because they're like, I don't even want to try if it's not going to be good. And so I think that's the pressure that the generation has.
Oh, I
coming.
felt that. Definitely.
Yeah, which is really
just
hard.
in my own experience.
Like, how do you keep creating art if you're never going to put it out because you're afraid it's not going to be good enough? And so,
And it might
that's-
be part of your, you know, way of generating income and stuff. Like,
Oh
that-
yeah,
that
as
can
soon
be
as you
tough.
monetization changes everything, because then you have to start like censoring yourself, and you know, like there's so much that you have to, like Enzo said, right? You can't really be yourself if one small mistake can cost you first your monetization, and now with cancel culture, which I'm sure you guys are aware of how bad that's gotten. Oh man, one wrong word and your like careers.
yeah. That is crazy.
Oh, I got cancelled once. If in case you guys didn't know.
Really?
I know.
Yeah, you know, right? Yeah, when my TikTok account got banned
Oh my goodness.
because these idiots
Banned for what?
banned for making making funny videos about a K-pop group that I love and I support, but they've, you know, because there's another reason why I hate Gen Z and the younger generation. They're so sensitive, right?
That's tough. Grow some thick skin.
I know, grows up. Yeah, listen to this lady right here. Holy. So, yeah, again, I don't want to get into that because I could go on and on. But long story short, yeah, just with how like, how sensitive like the new generations are,
Right.
and yeah, you just have to be so careful about how you make content.
Yeah, it's a really weird fine line because like I agree. I don't think cancel culture is good because
no.
you can't recover from it.
People
like, that's the
deserve
one
second
thing,
chances.
Like I think it's too scary because people don't know until they're in it that like when the world hates you, you can't do anything. Like you're literally banished from
That's
this
hard.
earth. So like there's nothing you can do about it, which is
That sounds like.
Banished from this.
Spanish like it's Game of Thrones or something.
No, Yu-Gi-Oh, bro. She sent you to the
are.
shadow
But
realm.
you're
go
wrong,
straight to
right?
the shadow realm.
Shadow realm.
And you don't come back. You know, like Yugi's not pulling you out. So like it's like
Yes.
it's legit how it is
Yes,
though.
John Wick 3.
Because you're blacklisted.
No
Oh, I
spoilers.
haven't seen
Sorry.
that.
You have
Sorry.
nothing. Yeah.
We're just talking about that in the car. I need to go watch John Wick, don't
You
I?
do need to.
Okay.
This guy.
Caps after the podcast.
Anyway. Recording, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
Not bad, not bad. We'll
So.
just wrap it up somehow.
Yeah.
With a good outro. That's when you gotta spam your social media in it. Be like, follow us, and then just link your YouTube channel. You gotta subscribe, hit that subscribe button. You gotta think of creative ways to tell them to subscribe as well, and
Hey, how do you do that?
huh? Like smash that subscribe button like you want to smash a waifu. Boom!
Damn, son.
I used that
You
in one of my
need to-
videos. I used that in one of my videos. I used that.
You need to be careful, man.
Actually, don't use that because I don't want you to copy me.
I love like that's the reason why she's not gonna do it.
Yeah. Plagiarism.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I got that.
You are different.
I got that from someone, I think, or yeah.
See, talking about plagiarism, you got it from someone.
I stole that from someone.
Nah.